Looking to become a Knight of Westeros? What if your job involved wielding a sword, swearing oaths of loyalty, and fighting for honor in a world where betrayal lurks around every corner? Sounds like something straight out of Game of Thrones, right? But here's the real question. How much does a knight in Westeros actually make? And is it enough to justify the constant risk of losing your head, your honor, or even your soul? Let's break it down. We're diving into the salary, perks, and brutal challenges of being a knight in Game of Thrones. From serving noble houses to battling White Walkers, let's uncover what it's really like to live by the sword in one of the most dangerous worlds ever created. And of course, we'll answer the big question, is the paycheck worth it, or would you end up paying with your life? To understand what it means to be a knight in Westeros, let's start with the basics. In the real world, a soldier's job involves training, discipline, and following orders to protect their country. But in Game of Thrones, being a knight is a whole different ballgame. You're not just a soldier, you're a sworn protector of a noble house, bound by oaths of loyalty and honor. Your day-to-day involves everything from training in the yard to leading troops into battle. Oh, and don't forget the occasional awkward moment when you have to explain to your lord why you lost a skirmish to a bunch of wildlings. Because in Westeros, failure can cost you more than just your job. So, what does a typical day look like for a knight in Westeros? Picture this. Your morning starts with the clang of steel as you spar in the castle yard. Because, of course, you need to stay sharp if you're going to survive the next battle. Once you're warmed up, you're assigned to your duties, whether that's guarding the castle gates, escorting your lord's family, or leading a patrol along the border. By midday, you're juggling multiple tasks. Maybe you're training new recruits, inspecting the armory, or preparing for an upcoming tourney. And let's not forget the occasional all-hands-on-deck situation when your lord calls you to war, because in Westeros, peace is just the calm before the storm. Now, let's talk about a nightmare scenario. What if your lord betrays his allies, and you're forced to choose between your oath and your conscience? As a knight, it's your job to stay loyal, even when the stakes are sky high. But what happens when loyalty means turning a blind eye to injustice, or worse, becoming complicit in it? You'd need to navigate the treacherous politics of Westeros, decide where your true loyalties lie, and make sure you don't end up on the wrong side of a sword. And let's not forget the pressure of knowing that if you fail, you could lose your head, or worse, your honor. So how does this compare to real-world jobs? In the real world, a professional soldier or mercenary earns an average of $40,000 to $70,000 a year, depending on experience and location. But as a knight in Westeros, you're not just fighting for pay, you're fighting for honor, loyalty, and survival in a world where betrayal is everywhere. That's a whole new level of responsibility and risk. So how much would a knight in Westeros make? Let's do the math. If we assume the average knight serves a mid-tier noble house and earns a monthly stipend of 50 gold dragons, that's 600 gold dragons a year. Now, let's convert that to real-world terms. If we assume one gold dragon is roughly equivalent to $1,000, that means a knight's annual earnings would come out to around $600,000. That's right, enough to afford a comfortable lifestyle in Westeros, but probably not enough to buy your own castle. But here's the real question, is that enough to live on? If you're serving a wealthy house like the Lannisters or the Tyrells, 600 gold dragons a year would be more than enough to cover basic expenses like food, armor, and the occasional feast. But if you're serving a poorer house like the Starks or the Tullys, you might struggle to make ends meet, especially when you factor in the cost of maintaining your equipment and supporting your squire. Of course, the perks might just make up for it. Imagine having access to the best training, fighting alongside legendary warriors, and earning the respect of your peers. Plus, let's not forget the bragging rights. How many people can say they've served under someone like Ned Stark or Jaime Lannister? But there are challenges too. You'd be dealing with constant danger, the pressure to uphold your honor, and the occasional existential crisis when you realize you're fighting for a cause you don't believe in. And let's not forget the risk of getting betrayed by your own allies. So, would you take the job as a knight in Westeros? Or would you demand a raise to deal with the constant danger, moral dilemmas, and the occasional dragon attack? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more wild breakdowns, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. What other Game of Thrones jobs should we analyze next? Let me know, because winter isn't the only thing that's coming.